Hey everybody, Sherri Echols here with Milynda Hallermann, my lender partner, and today we have Blake Robinson here from the Ace Handyman Services company, right?
Yep.
He is the best in handyman. Lots of times it's hard to get contractors to come, but Blake always shows up, always shows out. They always do a fabulous job. I love referring them because I know that I can count on them to be there and to do a great job. All these folks are licensed, right? So
Yep.
for any trade you need, they're going to have somebody who's licensed to come and take care of you. Today, we're going to be talking about the best return on investment projects that you can do to your home. And Milynda's going to talk to us about home renovation loans and how that all kind of works. So we've gone through this list of kind of the top return on investment projects that you can do to your house. The things that are like the most worth it. And we're going to start like at things that give you at least an 80% return or more. And the first one that we're going to start with is a kitchen remodel. And a lot of people think it's going to take the whole big old huge kitchen remodel, but really what's the best return is kind of a mid-range kitchen update. Can you kind of describe for us what a mid-range kind of kitchen update would be?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, we've done this for a couple of your clients last year too. But you know, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, if I'm going to remodel my kitchen, I'm going to spend $20,000 or $30,000. It's really not the case. You can do a lot for 10 or 12, a whole lot. And I think, you know, we come in and we do countertops and a backsplash because that usually goes hand in hand, right? If you're going to do the countertops, you need to do the backsplash because it's going to get destroyed in the demo.
Yeah, and then a new sink and a new fixture.
New sink, new faucet. Always when you get new countertops, you're going to get a new sink anyways. It's an undermount, so it's part of the deal. And then a new faucet. That alone can be a easily less than $5,000-6,000 project that can add potentially $15,000 or $20,000.
Totally change the look.
Of course, yeah, because it goes from a kind of a boring old looking kitchen to just nice pop, new quartz, new granite, new stone backsplash, a nice pretty sink. It just distracts, even if you've got crappy looking cabinets,
Right.
people say, wow, beautiful countertops, beautiful backsplash.
Yeah, it really draws the eye away.
Yeah, exactly. So
what do you do normally on cabinets? Are you refacing a lot of them, or are you just painting them, or what are you doing to kind of
well, it really
give
depends.
a little zhuzh to them?
Depends on how they're built, and it depends on what our customer is looking for. Are they looking to upgrade their home and live in it for the next 5 or 8 years, but also spend money on an investment that they'll get return on when it does come time to sell their house? Or are they trying to get it ready for rent and on a lower budget? Or are they trying to sell it at a mid-range price point that they know a quality buyer will appreciate the cabinets? So if they're old, thin particle board cabinets that have water damage, a lot of times it's better to replace them. If we're doing the countertops anyways, we've got half the project done. Let's just go ahead and put new cabinets in. If it's good quality wood and they're stained or painted and just need a facelift, then we can stain or paint them. And a lot of people don't realize you can paint over stained cabinets. So if it's the older kind of older, lower quality stain grade, we can put a nice heavy paint over it and makes them look brand new.
The thing about
hardware, and
hardware,
you got a whole new look, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
the thing about painting cabinets is you can't just slap paint on it. You have to prepare the surface. You got to sand it or put some kind of product on there that's going to make the paint stick. Otherwise, it's just going to peel right off again and it'll look worse than it ever did.
I'm glad you brought that up because we have experienced this multiple times.
Yeah, me too.
Customers that hired a painter to come and paint, but the surface wasn't prepped. You have to scuff up the surface and put a good bonding primer on there, and then paint it, or else when it's done, you can literally take your fingernail and just scrape the paint off.
Right.
And I hate to see somebody who's just spent a couple $1,000s getting their cabinets painted.
I've seen it too, where the paint just kind of, it just peels and it's just
Like
hanging there. Right.
Man.
So this sheet that I have is in like kind of the Houston area, which we're sort of part of now. It shows that the average job cost, what they're saying is around $27,500. Is that what kind of you're finding is the mid-range
On a kitchen remodel?
on a mid-range?
I think that's a generous budget, honestly. I think for $20,000 to $30,000, you could do cabinets, countertops, backsplash, faucet, and possibly even floors.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think if somebody said I have an average size kitchen and a $30,000 budget, I could say we can do it all.
That's almost
You
a
know?
whole new kitchen.
Yeah, except for appliances, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on it, maybe you can get them on sale too, and you know, pinch pennies on one end and put it into the other end. But the return on that is 80.7%. So that's a good return on your investment.
That you're gonna enjoy that
Right.
whole time you're in the house. The
Correct.
kitchen is so,
Yeah.
yeah, so important.
And the kitchen's like the heart of the home. So that's, people really look at what the kitchen looks like when they're coming to
Yeah.
buy. Whether they cook or not, they still hang out there and they still eat, you
Yep.
know?
It's funny, the things that we get the most calls for is the wet areas, the kitchen, the bathroom, and the laundry room.
Yeah.
And it's, because it's the areas you spend most of the time in your home, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right,
Um,
right.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. Laundry room doesn't even make the list, but
Yeah.
I spend
I
a
can
lot
see
of
that.
time in my
Yeah.
laundry room. Yes, with
Yeah.
family.
we do that a lot, just adding storage to laundry rooms and
yeah,
making them more functional instead of just a storage room.
my laundry room is in my dining room, so
Yeah.
not ideal.
Yeah.
But older houses, that's what happens. Okay, so the next one going up at 85.3% return on investment is the siding replacement. This is taking old wood siding that's kind of a wood destroying insect danger that rots. Or maybe I've even seen some old aluminum siding and like some vinyl siding even. Things that kind of dehydrate and bust, deteriorate in our climate here with the sun and the heat and the humidity. And they're trading in for like party board, right? Is that what you're seeing most of?
Yeah, it depends. On an older home that's got traditional, cedar siding, hardy siding is about half the thickness. So it's hard to mix and mingle the two.
Right.
It's also very expensive to reside your entire house.
Mhm.
And if we take all that siding off, then we end up finding that the waterproof underlayment is usually needing to be replaced. And then sometimes the OSB sheathing that's behind there has got water damage. And if we're gonna take the siding off, we might as well go ahead and replace the sheathing. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
a project like that could easily go as much or more than a kitchen remodel. The question is the seller, if they're doing it to sell their home, is that a cost that they're gonna have to deal with? Is the
Mhm.
buyer gonna say, your siding's in such bad shape, I need this fixed before I can buy the house anyways? Or is it the kind of thing that we can fix parts and pieces of it? If so, then I would say, if you've got the older cedar siding,
Mhm.
we'll just replace it with matching and not put hardy on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If the house is in bad enough shape and we need to reside the whole house anyways, then let's do it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than trying to mix and match.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna
Yeah.
do a job, you may as well do it right. But
Yeah.
a lot of time in real estate transactions, the wood destroying insect inspection will show like the rotted wood, like at the corners on the fascia board or at the bottom of some of the old kind of press board sidings.
Mhm.
You'll see where they haven't been kept sealed with paint. And then water gets in and it kind of expands and dehydrates, and that's an in for wood destroying insects.
People don't realize, like what you're saying, the value of paint. It's,
Mhm.
Yeah,
it makes your house look pretty, but it's also the skin of your home.
yeah,
It protects your home from the sun and the water. It protects the insects from coming in.
So it's kind of
Obviously,
like sunscreen for the house.
yeah, well, kind of, yeah. It's protecting your home from water intrusion, pest intrusion, and it needs to be redone periodically anyways.
Mhm.
And when you paint, you caulk. And
Yeah.
so all the caulk is sealing the
Mhm.
seams. And so if you're gonna do the siding job, you're inevitably gonna have to do the paint job anyways. But it's all necessary things to maintain the lifespan of your home.
mhm.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if they're in a house that you would paint the whole thing, but the soft innovation, anyway, a brick home
Mhm.
Yeah.
is gonna have expansion gaps that caulk will dehydrate and age over time. It needs to be scraped out and redone.
Correct.
And also around the windows needs to be sealed so water doesn't get in around your windows. But the average cost, on my sheet of the siding replacement is almost $19,000, and the return on that investment's 85.3%. So that's a good return on investment. And it does really protect your home from the outside
Mhm.
in, so you really don't want to get water damage or wood destroying insects, because that can cause like a lot more expensive
Right.
issues. And like we're saying, if the outside is compromised, then it gets into the sheathing and the what do you call the bottom board, the
Mhm.
decking, not decking, but
Yeah, the bottom trim of the home and,
no, there's the board and then the waterproofing and then the
yeah, so
siding.
we call that OSB sheathing. That's the plywood basically, which is
Yeah.
wrapped in a house wrap, which is
Yeah.
a waterproof barrier.
Yeah, all
which
the
is in
layers.
siding, yeah. So if
Yeah.
it gets through that waterproof barrier and that plywood gets wet, then it starts to fall apart and can
Yeah,
be a perfect habitat for termites or.
then it can get into the
Carpenter.
2x4s and the whole
Okay.
shebang, even through your sheetrock. So
Yes.
that'd be a big problem. Next one on the list is garage door replacements. I've replaced several of these. I've had tenants drive through them. I actually banged into mine a little bit myself, so I'm gonna be replacing mine at some point.
Yeah,
My car's so quiet, I can't tell if it's off, and I stop in the driveway and it'll be answering messages, and then
starts rolling back.
yeah, ran right into it one day, but that's about, this says 4,500. I think it's a little bit more than that now. It's around 6,000.
For the door,
The door and the.
for the door and the motor, it's gonna be a little bit more. For just the door, I think that's a good estimate.
About
Yeah.
You
4,500.
can get some nice looking garage doors now too. You
Yeah.
really can.
Yeah,
You can get insulated ones, you know.
It just,
Yeah.
it instantly dresses up that part of the
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
yeah, and having windows there gives a little bit of light if you like doing work projects and when I have the door shut anyway.
Yep.
That's an 86% return, so that's a
Yeah.
pretty good return. And that's a big old, if, depending on if your garage door is facing the street or facing sideways. If it's facing the street, that's a huge facelift. If your door looks icky, putting a new door on really is a good facelift.
Yeah. And something to think about if you're doing the siding and the painting, if you have the budget to throw on the garage door, because a lot of times we paint the garage doors when we paint the house, you know,
Yeah.
make it all match. Otherwise, you just go with a white.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a listing coming right now that's painted gray and it's got black shutters, black trim, so a
that's
black door
pretty.
would look really great with
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
absolutely.
The next one is siding replacement again. Now this is. It says vinyl. Are people putting vinyl siding on again? Is there a better new product?
I don't see any new homes or even remodels going for the vinyl unless they've already got the vinyl and they're just trying to match the vinyl. But
Okay.
I think probably why that's on the list is because that vinyl siding gets real dry and brittle.
Mhm.
And after it's been there for a while, one decent hailstorm pops holes in it.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
wow,
you just
okay.
replace the portions that need to be replaced with new vinyl siding.
Okay.
I think why that's on the list is because when vinyl siding gets bad, it looks really bad.
yeah, it looks
Okay.
really terrible.
Okay.
It'll make your house
Yeah.
look real cheap, right?
Yeah.
Right
Oh, yeah.
quick, yeah.
Mhm.
Most people around here, I think it's like hardy board and brick and stone kind of things
Yeah.
Yeah.
around here. Okay, so the next one is having a grand entrance or replacing that front door.
Mhm.
What kind of jobs are you doing on front door replacements around town?
We do so many door replacements, and and I agree, it's a nice like lipstick of your home, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the first thing people see when they come over. It's the first thing your buyer is gonna see when they come to tour your house. It's the
Yeah, we're
first
staying in that
impression.
open in the
It's the,
lockbox.
it's the
Yeah.
handshake to your house, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we do a lot of door refinishes if the door is a good quality door.
Mhm.
A lot of homes also, I hate to see this, but sometimes they have the hollow metal front
Mhm.
door that it'll get dinged and scratched and
Mhm.
I always just recommend replacing that door. I mean, you can get a brand new door for what people would say is reasonable and, you know, a $2,000 price range.
Mhm.
And then the cost to install it and finish it and everything, you're talking potentially $4,000 to $5,000 on the high end
Mhm.
for a front door replacement that I think creates really, really good attraction to your home.
It's also kind of some security, and if your door is in a place where there aren't many windows, that's an opportunity to bring some light in as
Correct.
well.
Yeah,
I've seen like doors that could provide some light for, say, the family room.
and we do a lot of
kinda dark.
situations like that where the customer wants us to make side lights when we
Yeah.
replace the doors. We
Oh,
actually
okay.
make the opening bigger and put in a unit with side lights on it too. Yeah.
So this sheet says around 11,000. Keep in mind, my sheet that I'm looking at is from the Houston area. Ours is a little bit different. Blake has a lot of experience with, the cost of what.
And that's a
what
grand
they do.
entrance too. So
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
there are the side
Really.
lights
Yeah.
and that stuff.
Yeah. So that's a 90.6 return on investment. That's that's almost 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Next thing is the manufactured stone veneer that, like we said just a minute ago, most people around here, it's hardy board, brick, or with some stone accent or, a certain percentage of stone siding.
Mhm.
Tell us what you know about that. What have you done with that? Have you added a lot of stone or?
You know, we don't see a
Repaired it?
lot of customers that want us to come in and add stone where there didn't used to be. Just because I think, first of all, it's hard to visualize that on your home.
Yeah.
I also think, it really depending on how your home's built and, once the stone's there, it lasts as long as the home, right? We don't see a lot of situations where you need to come and replace it unless it's a situation where it wasn't installed right,
Yeah,
wasn't
reglazing.
braced right, it starts to separate, you get cracks, that kind of thing. But I suspect the reason this made the list is because there are those situations when you've got a stone facade on your home and it starts to separate a little bit, whether it's just normal settling of your foundation or if the stone is actually shifting. And those cracks, again, if you're gonna sell your house, the buyer's gonna notice it and they're gonna think, oh my gosh, they've got foundation
Yeah,
problems,
yeah.
when really they probably don't. But
Mhm.
you need to get that fixed, and the return on investment for that is probably very good, because the cost depreciation to your home if you don't do it would be detrimental,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so having that stone veneer is about a 98.3% ROI. That's really, really good.
Mhm.
One comment on that, adding stone, it just kind of depends on the style of the house too. I'm in a neighborhood that was built mid-70s to mid-80s during the oil boom.
Yeah,
And that style of home, a couple people in the neighborhood put stone on their houses and it just kind of doesn't look quite right.
yeah.
It's just kind of.
And it's something to consider too, if it's depending on the type of stone and, if it was installed
Yeah,
right,
maybe that's it.
that can be
Maybe
resurfaced
it's
and
too
painted.
much. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, a lot of, we, you know, brick and stone, that's, you know, a lot of people have the browns and the
Mhm.
colors that aren't as in anymore, and they're painting in more whites and grays.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can definitely be done too. Yeah,
Okay, so the very top one, we just picked the top 7 for anything that was 80% or better. Is the HVAC conversion, going from the old HVACs to the new ones.
yeah,
I am not very technical on this stuff, but the old Freon kind, that's what I have in all my houses. I
Mhm.
just replaced one last week, finally. My HVAC guys have been telling me on all my houses, you need new air
Yeah.
conditioners. They don't want to service the old kind anymore. They're not as efficient.
yeah.
Tell us about air conditioners.
We don't, that's the one trade we don't do in-house is
Mhm.
HVAC. We either refer it out or sub it in on larger projects.
Mhm.
I can see why the return on investment is high, because, you know, it's probably the most expensive single component of your home. If
Yeah.
you think about it.
Besides the roof, yeah.
Well, yeah, and sometimes it's kind of a wash. I mean,
Yeah.
$10,000 HVAC, $10,000 roof, you know, easily. And so, but I can see where, just like the roof, you're trying to sell your house, the buyer's say, oh, you've got a,
Yeah.
you know, 80%. Or 20% life left in your
Mhm.
roof, or 20% life left in your HVAC, they're gonna try to depreciate that on what they're willing to pay for your home.
Yeah.
So, yeah. it
And that
makes sense.
savings, I know when we have 2 units in our house and we changed them over time, and when we changed the new ones, the drop in the electricity bill, even on a large home,
Correct.
that I think that has such a high ROI because you're literally saving money every month with that one.
Yeah, that one's 107.2%. So something that Milynda and I need to talk about on air conditioners
Mhm.
and roofs, now that Blake's mentioned them. If the roof doesn't have at least 10 years of life left in it, it's not insurable, so. It just can't be
Yeah.
insured, so
Yeah.
that would need to be replaced. And it has to be replaced for an FHA loan or a VA loan, which is what
Mhm.
we work with a lot of veterans, and so we're gonna see this. I've had a lot of clients who've had to have the roof replaced before they could close on a house that they were buying.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and Milynda could talk to us about doing, all these are return on investment projects cost money, right?
Yep.
If you don't have that cash in hand, Milynda can do a renovation
renovation
loan.
loan. Mhm.
So talk to us about this renovation loan. Is this gonna be on any kind of loan or just on the VA, or what are you here to
Well,
talk about today?
First, let's talk about, when we say renovation loan, we're not just talking about financing the renovations. This is not a home improvement loan. It's actually a mortgage that is going to take the house as it is and all of the improvements, updates, upgrades that you'd like to make, and roll all of that into one mortgage so that you're not buying your home and then financing your renovations separately after the fact, probably at a higher interest rate, and not getting the benefit of amortizing that over the 15 to 30-year period of a loan. So it's kind of a one-stop shop to get it all done when you move in, so that it really can become the dream house right away, right after closing. And especially with what we're seeing, this becomes really relevant because of the chronic housing shortage that we have. And that's not going to go away anytime soon. So you may have the perfect neighborhood, the perfect lot, and this house is okay, but it would be better. It would be perfect if it had XYZ. Well, now you can buy that house in the perfect spot and make it the perfect house and add XYZ into your mortgage loan. I mean, everything from all the upgrades that Blake is talking about to landscaping to a pool. Adding, you can add a freestanding unit sometimes if you wanted to add a garage, a freestanding garage, something like that. So there's so many options
Yeah.
with this.
So is this like a conventional loan?
It comes in all flavors.
All flavors.
We can do, conventional FHA, MVA even has a rental loan.
That's a big help, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And the conventional loan is even an option for investment properties. So if you are an investor and you do not want to do a hard money loan, and depending on your financial situation,
Yeah.
if you're going to keep this house, it really is a good choice for that situation sometimes too.
Yeah, because I mean, the way to make your money on investment properties is right on the buy side. You buy it at lower cost and then you renovate it as inexpensively as you can and then get the most rent that you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
So, yeah, and so the way the renovation loan works is, you identify the property and what you'd like to do to it. Then with the help of your realtor, you're gonna identify your contractors and basically get your packet ready. Those contractors are gonna come in and you're gonna say, I would like this kitchen, these upgrades, or let's add a bathroom or whatever. So whatever the projects are, you get that packet from your contractor with what they're gonna do detailed and the cost. And then when we go get that house appraised, you submit the packet to the appraiser. So when they go out and appraise the house, they're gonna look at the existing house, but they're gonna appraise it as if all of those improvements were already made.
Very cool.
Yes. So you're actually closing on your home as if it were finished before you've even started the work. So you're gonna close just like a regular purchase loan, okay, about 30 days, maybe a little longer because you've got contractors involved and they're having to come in and do bids and all of that.
Yeah, because they're busy.
Yes, because you are adding a different component, but the work doesn't actually start until after closing.
So how does the qualification work on that? Well, like when you do a pre-qualification or desktop underwriting on someone, you give them like the top end of what they can afford, right? Do they have to work the additional you know what I'm saying, the additional amount for the renovations
Well, they're gonna,
and the loan? I mean, is it?
the borrower's gonna qualify for a dollar amount.
Mhm.
And so what we need to, once we know that dollar amount that they're qualified for, we need to figure out which home we're gonna be, once they identify a home, are the improvements they want to make gonna stay under their dollar
Right,
amount?
so those two numbers together, you have to qualify for all that. It's not that you can go to the top of your range to buy the house and then add
And then add.
the
no.
repairs on top of it. You have to qualify for all of it.
Yep.
From the get-go.
So would you say that if somebody's looking to do some improvements on their home to get more for it when they sell it in the near term, would you say that they're better off going that route if they're gonna
Go
sell the home in the
refinance.
next 6 months versus trying to get a hard money loan? Or how do you, because we have a lot of, Sherri will
Mhm.
consult with a client that's interested in selling their home and she may say, well, as is, we might get 225, but if you put 20 or 30 into it, we could get 310,
Yeah,
I don't
And-
think it's designed for flips.
And well, not necessarily a
not a
flip,
flip. Just
existing owner
Okay.
lives there,
deferred maintenance and
wants to
renovation.
put a little money
Okay.
in it to
Mhm.
get potentially twice as much out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't have the cash to do that.
Well, this is a loan that you need to keep for at least 8 months.
Okay,
Okay, it is not designed, it's a mortgage. I mean, it's a mortgage. It's not a short-term loan. So it would be ideal for an investor who is buying a property and doesn't want to flip it, wants to keep it as a long-term investment property. It's ideal for somebody like that.
Mhm.
If it's for somebody who's wanting to sell the house,
Yeah.
that's really not what this is designed for.
okay.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to sell my house, it needs so much work. Like if I knew I was gonna sell my house a year from now, it wouldn't make sense for me to do this loan now and then work on all those renovations throughout the year and then sell, or is that just not a good scenario?
I don't know if you're gonna recoup, because any mortgage, I mean, any mortgage, if
Mhm.
you,
You can have closing costs.
you're not gonna recoup your closing costs at that point,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So you've got the same constraints
I see.
with any mortgage.
Okay,
yeah.
that's a
So-
good point.
In that case, what about doing like a little second mortgage, or is there some other product that you could use to renovate your house?
Yeah, cash out refi. That's what I did.
Okay,
I did a major I did in 2019, right before COVID, not knowing what great
Right
timing
before
that
the rates
was.
went, yeah.
Yeah,
Oops, sorry, guys.
I pulled $100,000 out of my house. So did a big cash out refi and did a lot of exactly the type of stuff you do. The bones were wonderful. When I bought that property, I knew it wasn't the perfect house, but it was in the perfect location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
And
got
it
a
was the
sweet house.
size. It was the size I wanted. And I knew that with time, we would be able, and of course, our equity just skyrocketed. And we got our mortgage paid down enough, and then we pulled out 100,000, and now it is my perfect house.
Yeah.
So cash out refis are perfect for that. Particularly if you've been sitting on that house a while, you may be shocked at how much equity. You would ask Sherri to assess your house's market value, and you may be pretty shocked at
Yeah.
how much your house is worth versus how little you owe on your mortgage.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, anything else that we haven't covered for either?
No, I mean, I think that's it. Renovation loans, people don't think about them, or people don't understand that it's the whole mortgage and it's the perfect way to upgrade your house while you move into it. And there's so many options. There really is a renovation loan for every buyer.
So if whether you need a loan or not, if you're thinking of selling, like how long does a project like this that's in the major range, how long does that take and what's the best time of year to do that? I know you said this month and next month are your busiest months, and I'm guessing that all the contractors in town are real busy right now. Well, maybe not as busy as you, but you know, how long should they budget to get these things done? So a lot of times when people are ready to list, they call me and they don't even want to wait for me to get the marketing ready for them. They want to list like right now, but it's going to take some time to get your house ready.
Yeah, good question. And that's the second most common question. First being how much did it cost? And the second being how long is it going to take, right? So, and the answer to both those is always it depends. But what I'll tell you is, with any contractor that you talk to, the one thing you want to make sure of, and what makes us a little different in-house is I've got 9 W-2 full-time employees, not subcontractors, not crews that I have to line up. These guys are full-time on my payroll. So we're able, when we start something, we finish it.
Yeah.
A lot of general contractors they'll have to line in each trade. And then if one crew is a little behind on their last project, you may go 2 or 3 weeks waiting with nothing happening. And so the question of how long will it take? It's usually on an average to mid-size remodel like this. I say, if you give me a good 30 working days, right? So 30 days of actual working in your home, I can have it ready for showing or move in or whatever. Now, if you're, living in your home and you want us to do one little piece at a time, like don't start the bathroom until you finish the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It'll take a little longer. The other thing to think about is I've told you 30 days from start to finish. So there's a period of time when you review our bid and you decide, yes, I want to move forward. And then from the day you tell me you want to move forward, then there's a period of time when I say, all right, I'm going to add you to the queue. It may be 2 weeks, it may be 2 months before we get started. It's rarely 2 months, but
then there's picking out what you want, what kind of granite, what kind of whatever,
yes.
and making sure that's come in and getting the.
And I never listen to the husband. I just don't. because it's not right.
We love y'all, but
So yeah, I mean, I think a good rule of thumb is if we start, give us 30 days and we can be done. Something to think about if we're doing showers, there's a period of time when after we lay the tile, we have to measure for the glass. When they measure for the glass, the time they install the glass is usually about 2 weeks. So the actual working period of the shower may only be 2 weeks, but it's 4 weeks start to finish because we had a 2 week period waiting for the glass to come in. So countertops similar. Once we get cabinets ready, we have to measure the countertops, and it's usually about a week and a half to 2 weeks before we're ready to install the countertops. So
it's not like going to Lowe's and just picking up all the
correct.
stuff.
Yeah.
It takes a
Sometimes
while.
there's some delay in just getting materials. So but it's usually just glass and countertops that are the biggest delay. Anything else, we pretty much can get a hold of.
Awesome. I just want to say again, if you have a project that you need done around your house, call Blake. We're going to put his number in the description below. We'll put all his contact information. Seriously, he shows up. They have integrity. They do a great job. They fix it right, and they do it the right way. I wholeheartedly recommend these guys. They're amazing.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All of his guys that have come out, I've had them do things on my rental properties or on listings, and I've been there, and even all the guys that work for him are just as sweet and mannerly and just polite and just funny and just they're just amazing guys. Everybody,
I've enjoyed working for you.
You've attracted this group of guys who are just like you, and they're super easy to work with. And like I said, with integrity and quality work. So give them
Yeah.
give them a buzz.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And Milynda, of course, she's like the best with VA loans in particular, but she does all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So any kind of projects, that-
Yep.
not projects, house loans, mortgages, that kind
Yeah.
of thing that you want, give Milynda a
Full
call.
service. I would love to talk to you about any of that stuff. And sometimes you're just at the talking stage and what's involved, and that's fine. Yeah, well, let's talk about it and see what might work to help you get ready to buy.
So if you've got some projects that you're thinking of doing and you want to know what the return on investment might be, give us a call and we will let you know. Okay, so Blake left already, but we've been sitting here eyeballing these things. So Milynda got her bulb.
I got started.
Yeah. So good. What do you have? What do you?
I have the Power Endurance Bowl, which is a whole bunch of fruit and granola and almond butter and extra protein, and it's really good. Obviously.
And I got a bravocado. It has avocado in it. I can't get a bite out without making a mess. So let me taste it. Oh my gosh. This is so good. And this is healthy stuff. They've got their menu online and you can go through and look at all the nutritional information.
Yep.
They make it non-dairy. All the kind of restrictions,
Yeah.
non-dairy, there's no gluten.
You can add protein to anything. You
yeah.
can use your choice of milk. What do they have? All the milks.
Yeah, and they've got like the toppers, chia seeds and even
Mhm.
flax seeds in here if you need, if you want to, if you're trying to be
Add
extra
those
healthy.
into
Your
yeah.
things. Yeah, right. Anyway, delicious stuff.
Mhm.
And they have smoothies and smoothie bowls.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to come back and try the rest of them. And excuse me, I want to say too, this is a veteran-owned business here in the Brazos Valley, Bryan College
Yeah,
Station
that's
area.
right.
So come by Rush Bowls. It is in the, what's the name of the shopping center? It's where,
Culpeper Plaza.
okay, it's where Kohl's is and
Mhm.
Specs and Home Goods
It's in the same strip as Firehouse Subs and Los Cucos.
and Poets and
Yep.
all kinds of things. Oh, there's an axe throwing place here too. That is also veteran owned.
Mhm.
There's Cinnaholic that's also veteran owned. F&F Japanese is
So
also veteran owned.
we're gonna be here several times in the near
Yeah, we're
future.
gonna be coming back. We just want to put the
Yeah.
spotlight on these veteran owned businesses in town because you know, a lot of times people go to the mainstream places, but these little places
Mhm.
are just amazing. These bowls
Yeah.
are so good. So good. I don't even think I could make something like this at
No,
home.
no,
A lot of
and-
times I could, but not
And,
this time.
it's an opportunity to support local and support a veteran-owned business. So it's really, it's perfect.
Yeah.